our experience of getting beyond that, the walls there, duality existence, So when we prostrate, we try and remember this is the journey we want to go to. We're making these aspirations. Part of our spiritual practice, as Rimshi mentioned on the first night, is making aspirations, motivations to go beyond our limited self. That should be part of our practice. So when we prostrate, we're making that for ourselves and all beings. May all beings go beyond their limitations right now and eventually dissolve into this place of emptiness where all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abide. It's a place of great bliss, great joy, freedom like the sky. When we eventually get there, it's incredibly, I should say, beautiful place, special, peaceful place. So just bringing about those kind of thoughts, aspirations for ourselves and others, and feeling light, and light coming from all the Buddhas. We need as much light in our life as possible. So feeling light coming when we prostrate as well, just purifying our body, speech and mind. And we can also imagine all our friends, family. They may not want to engage in spiritual practice, but we can bring them with us in our meditation. That's the best way to benefit them now. Maybe not by talking, just by bringing them in our prayers and practices. That's how we can benefit them. Om Namo Manju, Nama Sushri, Nama Utama Shri. Om Namo Nama Nama Utama. So again, as we did yesterday, we're just, Shrimshi advised, just trying to settle and empty out or create a bit more space. Just like when we clean a room, we want to try and keep our mind a bit clear, creating some space in the morning meditation for the teachings to go in a bit more deeply. So again, just connecting with the body. Body's a bit more gross than the speech and mind, so you have to work with the body first, getting it into a little bit more gentle place, and that helps to guide the mind in meditation when it's in a clearer, the body's in a sort of place, clearer place for meditation. It helps to support the mind. So just bringing our awareness, doing this scanning of the body again from the crown of the head. Connecting slowly and deeply with the breathing. And using breath and awareness to shower and open and create space in the body. Just being aware of the usual spots where we feel and hold tension as we move down usually through the eyes, because we use our eye sense a lot, all day. So there's usually some tension there. through the back of the neck, circling around the shoulders, opening up the chest. Just correcting the spine as we go down and scan the body, correcting our posture at the same time. So sit bones, how the sit bones are placed on the cushion, how the legs are actually helps really to support the spine. Bring it upright, like an arrow that's kind of still having enough flexibility at the same time from the sit bones all the way up through the crown. Few breaths through the stomach area just to open, release, and relax. Maybe a bit more deeply we can do than yesterday. We might find our body's a bit more open. Anyway, through the power of just being here for a day or two, feeling more relaxed, more present here. All the way down through the legs, just connecting with the whole body. Again, in a kind and gentle way, like giving ourselves massage or acupuncture. Doing that for ourselves, our karmic self. We need that. We are in samsara. We need to recognize, acknowledge, feel that, and just step by step go beyond that state. Kindly, but clearly, and definitely a sense of discipline, effort, determination. So when so now we're here, a little bit more in the body, can we do this 9-round breathing to create a bit more clarity, spaciousness in the mind for the meditation of more sort of concentration practice. So again, we have Rimshi here. We've had so many holy beings here at Vajrapani. So the place has this deep blessing in its DNA. You can feel that. So make use of that, Try to just allow that to keep seeping through our body, our mind, every part of us while we're here. Soak it up. Even His Holiness the Dalai Lama's been here. It's quite very rare and special. So feeling that energy, all these enlightened masters who have come here over the last almost 50 years. As we inhale, we breathe in all that wisdom, that illuminates our consciousness. And as we exhale, we just let go of one layer of our karmic limitation, through black smoke, whatever that is, however it feels, we're just allowing that to let go and allowing enlightened wisdom to come through, stream through our being as we inhale do this exercise. Three, bringing the first finger of the right hand, closing off the left nostril. Inhale through the right. Slow, deep breathing, that luminosity. And exhale through the left. Allowing the breath to slowly deepen. Then on the opposite side, first finger of the left hand, closing off the right nostril. Keep soft through the jaw, through the back of the throat. And then through both nostrils. So as Rimshi says, we need to develop concentration as well, to go beyond our conventional self, conventional mind. So we just try to do that bit by bit every day, especially when we have this opportunity of being here. Again, the analogy Rimshi used when the sun of the teachings shines on us, it's at times in our lives. We're in our house, and there's only certain times in the day when the sun comes through the window, brings light, a sense of warmth into the room. So it's like that in our lives. There's just certain times, especially when we're in the presence of a teacher. All the conditions come together, to feel the warmth of the blessings of the Buddha's teachings. So very fortunate, we've given ourselves this opportunity to sit in that sunlight, receive the warmth of the blessings. So we use that also just to develop our concentration. An aspect of the path we need to have, to get to the really juicy kind of experience of emptiness. We need to combine it with concentration. And just checking the points of the posture, especially for concentration, it's good to make sure the spine's straight, kind of aligned in a way that's helping the mind to stay clear. And also put our hands in this meditation position of being cupped on the lap. It sort of helps to support, there's sort of a strength to that mudra there. And the two fingers together, two thumbs. Eyes can be slightly open, but for most it's better to be gently closed. Tongue's on the palate. Shoulders back, chest kind of open, support the breathing. And chin is slightly tucked under, so the crown is pointing up towards the sky. So the head doesn't fall back. And just slowly bringing the awareness in to the mental consciousness and the exercise, being with one object instead of all the objects of the senses. The breathing at the tip of the nostrils, or we can use the exhalation, watching the rising and falling in the abdomen. The breath goes in and out of there. Let's do this for 7 minutes. Okay, so let's just take a moment just to come out of the meditation. Just move your body a little bit. It's good to come out and the mind's not too tired, it's still fresh. So just take a minute to move, adjust ourselves, relax from that object before we do another 5 minutes. So when we're doing the meditation, as well, one way to sort of keep in the experience of the deeper experience of being in the mental consciousness, using it to concentrate, not being distracted by noises, thoughts, maybe pain in the body. Just just label. It's just this process of labeling, you know, whatever we got caught in that's not the object, the breath, we can just label that. And as Rimshi said, it's kind of boring anyway. We're here because we're bored. There's a level of boredom, dissatisfaction that we feel in our lives, you know. We reach, we kind of feel our karmic limitation, you know, our inability. That's good because we connect at that place where there's no peace, you know, there's no satisfaction through the sense doors. And when we feel that, that kind of brings us to spiritual practice. So we can just feel that now, you know, when the mind wanders off, we label it, we can just label it boring, you know, even our thoughts, storylines. And she said the Netflix channel of our mind, you know, whatever movie we're on in our thoughts, whatever storyline, just label it boring, you know. And even though it's still going on in the background, the thoughts, you know, they don't really settle till we're quite a ways in with the concentration practice. They're just a background noise. We're more interested in what's going on in the realm of our mental consciousness and the concentration practice. By making that more juicy and interesting by labeling everything else. When we catch it, the mind going, they just label it boring and go back to breath. Because that gets more and more interesting the deeper the concentration gets. So we'll do another 5 minutes. Okay, so um, then moving our mind away from the object to the breath. And for the next 10 minutes, we're just going to think about a little bit more what Rimshi was talking about yesterday, teaching yesterday. This idea of our karmic limitations, you know, how we're limited. It's getting really always, we have to, whether we're new, whether we're, you know, intermediate practitioners, advanced practitioners, you know, the goal is to understand the nature of reality, our reality, how we actually exist. It's not that we don't exist, but right now we're living in this, as Rimshi said, this dualistic way. There's a separation between us, ourselves, and others, ourselves and phenomena. We always feel separate, distant from others. There's times when we feel close, but we don't get completely connected. So the deeper we're aware of that, the deeper we recognize it's a bit like being, often they use the analogy in a prison, where we're all in our own cell. We're kind of entrapped in the cell of our delusions, in the cell, particularly ignorance, that separates us from others, you know, wrong view self. We're in our little world there in that cell. Sometimes we feel, you know, like we get close to others. A bit like having a neighbour that you become friends with when you're in that cell. You can chat through the walls. You hear some of the things they're up to. You get to know them a little bit through the sounds. You get to know some of their habits. But we don't really connect. You know, there's always this layer, this wall between us, you know, and sometimes it's thicker. Sometimes it's a bit thinner. But until we realise the nature of reality, like get out of that prison forever, that's the analogy, we're still in that cell block, in that cell. Let's just feel that for a minute, you know, we're in that cell. There's a distance continually between ourselves and others. And it's coming because our sense of self is so strong. Our sense of other, them, they, he, she, is quite strong and solid and concrete. Not to beat ourselves up about it, it's just really being aware of that situation we're in and recognising there's a possibility to liberate ourselves of that, to feel a deeper interconnectedness with all beings, with everything around us, to be sort of oneness. We used that term a little bit yesterday, oneness with others. Oneness with Tara, that's what we're trying to do. She has this enlightened nature. She's one with us. We're just not one with her yet. So when we sit in the cushion, we give ourselves that freedom, like when in the prison you get out maybe once a day for an hour in the yard. Like really nice, you know, see the sky, chat with others. It's like becomes very precious, you know, that day, that hour in the day when you get out in the yard. So we try to feel that when we're on the cushion and we try to investigate. We give ourselves that hour, that time in the day. Precious place to really investigate our sense of self. Step by step, moving beyond that duality. Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to say, just questioning how we exist, like how it appears to the mind, the sense of me, my, mine, just undergoing a questioning of that, like an atomic bomb on the ignorance, on the delusions. Because so many other people never get to, they never go to teachings and never question that. So they're just in the cell all the time. It's like they never get out. It's like when you're in maximum security prison, you know, you're not allowed even into the yard once a day. But being at the teachings here, questioning, hearing about a dualistic view, hearing about the potential for emptiness, you realise this incredible, beautiful, ultimate nature, the Tara, that's embodied in Tara, it's embodied in all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It's so precious. So how does the I appear to you? We might not get to emptiness, but as Rinpoche said, you know, we need to question what the great masters realised. We need to question, investigate, Nagarjuna, Asanga, you know, the Buddha, all coming from the Buddha. They just clarified teachings as we've moved through the generations in different cultures, clarifying for us so we understand how to apply them to our minds. We might come to a different conclusion, as Rinpoche said, than they did, but we still need to go through that process of being in the yard and questioning, giving ourselves space for the delusions by going through this process of how does the I appear to our mind right now, just looking at that. Is it our body, my body? Where is the I when we think my body? How does the I appear when we think, relate it to our mind, my mind, or my thoughts? The I becomes like the owner or the possessor of thoughts, but where is it? How does it appear? I am sitting, meditating. Well, who's doing that exactly where? Can you find the I that's meditating anywhere in the body and mind? Maybe if you remember a time, either here or probably not that long ago, where somebody upset you, said something hurtful. So who was that person? The body? I mean, do words harm the body? Can words really harm the mind or the emotions? Because usually we talk about my emotions, like there's a separate I from the emotion. My feelings separate from the feelings. So where's that I that's separate from the feeling it hurt? It's not that the I doesn't exist at all. It simply doesn't exist the way that we cling to it right now. That's the first sort of realization or awakening, you know. How it appears, how we hold on to it. Like it's so precious, you know, so real, so important. It's not there at all like that. It's not existing at all like that. There's no true, She said, intrinsic, no intrinsic, concrete, independent self on the body and mind, emotions, feelings. That's a complete hallucination. So we need to get a sense of that first before we go into how it exists. So perhaps just keeping this awareness of emptiness, you know, or the view, you know, wrong view of self in a way, you know. As we move into the teachings with Rimshi this morning, just trying to get this sense of how, you know, as Rimshi said, we have to investigate, you know, what the masters taught. So we just investigate when we go to breakfast, when we go and maybe shower or whatever, just looking at how we're labeling I in the mind, holding on to this view of self and questioning, does it really exist like that? Even for us long term, you know, we forget, we forget to remember, to remind ourselves of this awareness that the I, even though we don't know how we exist right now, we don't exist the way it appears to us. Just holding that awareness. It's a hallucination, this view I that's appearing all the time, moment by moment. Just holding that alone as we eat breakfast, go back to our room, being in that mindfulness.